Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retirement Corner. My retirement routine. I usually take the last week of January and first week of February off from work every year. And in that time, I try to get me a routine down so that I know what I'm going to do when I do retire. And I think routine is very important. Structure, I think that's more important than having, I don't know about more important, but they tell you to have 4 or 5 hobbies when you retire to keep you busy. But if you have some kind of structure, you know, like you get up in the morning, you run down to Hardee's and get you a cup of coffee, or at lunchtime you come in, you take you a 30-minute nap or something like that. I've known too many people that they didn't have really any hobbies, but they had structure in their retirement and they were fine because they don't. The thing is, you don't want to be bored, and if you have structure, I believe is a big secret that they don't tell you about it. Everybody tells you get a hobby, have something to do. But I think if you have structure, even if because a lot of people just don't have hobbies. I don't have one. I got things I do, but 90% of the time it's because it has to be done. So I'm working on that this week. I usually get up around 6:30, and I'll read a chapter in a book I'm reading. Right now I'm reading West by West, Jared West story, autobiography, I guess you'd say. It's very interesting. A lot of stuff I didn't know. But yeah, I'm reading that. So I'll read a chapter in that. And then I'll get up and get me some breakfast and probably go take a shower and then I'll go about my day. And about 2 o'clock I'll come in, try to take me about an hour or two nap and you know then I'll go about my evening. So I'm trying to get that structure down. I think if it was in the middle of winter right now, I'd probably would take a walk in the morning, and that's probably what I'll do. But I'm trying to figure out a structure so that I have uh, I have free time, but I have at certain times I got to do things and stuff, and I think that's going to help me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it's something I've been thinking about because I've known a lot of people that have been retired and really had no hobbies. Like used to work for a guy down the road here. He used to get up every morning about 7 o'clock. He'd have his breakfast. He'd get dressed, or he'd shower and he'd get dressed. And then he'd walk down. He had another little shack he stayed in. There's a house down next to the road. He would walk down there. A lot of times he would drive, but his wife used to tell him he needed to walk to get some exercise. And he would paint, but he would take a nap down there. He'd eat a little lunch down there, and he'd stay down there about all day. Then he'd head back up to the house and be with the wife for a little bit. And he did this every day. That was his kind of thing. And I worked for another guy. He owned a golf course. He was a professional golfer back in probably the 40s, I guess. 40s and 50s. He built this golf course in the 60s. One used to be around the corner here. He built that whole thing by hand. Laid it out, cut the trees down, laid all the pipe work. That's what he was by trade. He was a pipe fitter. And he worked at one of these factories while he was building that golf course. He raked that whole golf course. It was a 9-hole course, but he raked that whole thing by hand. Man, that's a lot. Man, that's amazing. But he ran that golf course and he sold it. And when he retired, he had a day for everything. I can't remember if it was Mondays or Fridays. He had to take the wife down to get her hair cut. She got it cut every week. It was a old fashioned couple. They were an older couple. He was in the Second World War, and she was one of them donut girls for the Red Cross. Went to some of the dances and stuff. So it tells you the area they grew up in. But and then something like on Tuesdays he would cut his grass. On Wednesdays he sang a 4-man barbershop quartet kind of thing. He had practice for that. Then on Thursdays he would I can't remember what he done on Thursdays. And then the weekend he kind of lounge around and watch golf or do whatever he had to do to get started for his next week. And that's the way he was. And that's always stuck with me. So I'm thinking that routine, that daily routine, because that's what you're getting at work. When you're working, you got 8 hours locked up. That you got to get up, you got to get ready, you got to go to work, you take your little lunch, you finish your work that evening, you come home, then you got stuff to do here. It's set up in time frames. Then you know you got to be in bed by whatever time so you can get up the next morning. And I'm thinking that's probably the best way to do it. Block your time off in certain sections. You block off a little bit of free time. Then you can have some days too. But as a general rule, I think we're creatures of habit. And by setting up a routine, I think that will help ease people into retirement. Well, that's my thoughts. Y'all let me know what you think. We'll talk at you later.